eat you for lunch.
Star Wars Outlaws takes scoundrel Kay Vess on a planet-hopping adventure as she goes in search of one big heist that will get her out of the trouble she finds herself in. Set between the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, the Imperial forces are at the peak of their powers and will naturally serve as an enemy faction. But more integral to the Outlaws experience are the crime syndicates that Kay will encounter and the scum and villainy that comes with them. Dotted throughout the galaxy, each has its own story to tell and, more importantly, can be used to Kay's benefit when you see fit, thanks to Outlaws' reputation system.
Love it.
Across all of them, there's fierce rivalries that Kay is going to have to navigate, and the player is going to have to engage with the reputation system in order to get what she wants.
You're not friends, you're not employed, you're not pledging allegiance. You're someone surviving and trying to grow a name, reputation in this world, and think of them as a little bit of means to an end. What do they have to offer and what do I need and want right now?
We've delved deeper into the gameplay impact of the reputation system and how you can manipulate the syndicates earlier in this month's Star Wars Outlaws IGN First. But who are these syndicates? We talked to members of the development team at Massive Entertainment to learn about the visual design of each and their place in the world of Star Wars Outlaws.
Nice. Here we go. Tell us more about the Syndicates. Yeah, the Hut Cartel. It's both the most famous.
Perhaps the most well-known of the Star Wars criminal syndicates, the Hutts are led by everybody's favourite giant slugman, Jabba the Hutt.
Is what part of a
Bib
service,
Fortuna,
Dennis?
Salacious Crumb, and other hilariously named cronies, they
Crumb.
first appeared in 1983's Return of the Jedi as the crime lords of Tatooine. Straightforward and not afraid to dispatch with anyone who plays games with them, they love galactic credits and the power they bring.
The idea with the Hutts is really what you see is what you get, right? They aren't afraid to use force.
Big,
they
slimy
take what they want, and they are just incredibly
slugs.
powerful.
Jabba the Hutt, very famous character in the Star Wars galaxy. And so the Hut Syndicate is definitely inspired by that. So
Look at this, we're going into Jabba's
posters,
palace,
you will see
man.
characters that you know from the movies as well,
Bibs
the Morian
Fortuna.
Guards, for example. But their look is definitely Tatooine inspired. I think it's interesting to say that the Hutts have probably the most dirt and wear and tear on their clothing of all the syndicates. You will find them on different locations as well. All the syndicates, you know, they have power
Oh, look at that
goes
lizard,
beyond
man.
the planet where they're from.
The Pike Syndicate. Yeah, Dennis, YouTube has a whole bunch of intros
will be
you
a
can choose for
recognisable
careers.
name to anyone who watched the Book of Boba Fett or Star Wars The Clone Wars TV
That's
series.
like a generic
but
sci-fi
don't
one.
expect them to look exactly how you remember.
They have a very distinctive look. They are pikes, but they're different from the pikes you've seen in different shows, for example, because it's a different group.
I
So
love the
in their
artwork
design,
behind her when you
we
see
really
Nyx
went
holding onto the
into
back of the
different
speeder.
direction with color palette, so they have a lot more dark blues, but also we went really into more of a graphic design for them. So you will see the helmets they
That
wear and the
image right
clothing
there.
they wear. They have different patterns,
Freaking love
which
it.
will show which rank they are, like which group they belong to. So
I
they
love-
will be very distinctive in that sense.
We've
as
seen
well.
the Pike
They're not
Cartel
as
before.
organized, I would say.
They've
the
got some
military
frame
group,
issues
but
in
they do
their,
have different units that have
in the
different
footage.
weapons, for example, different skills, and you will see
Somebody's
distinction
video
in that.
editing is
Through spice production and trading, the Pikes amassed a fortune from their homeworld of Obadiah. But by the time of Outlaws,
that looks
the
frickin'
syndicate
amazing
finds
right
itself
there.
spread out throughout the galaxy, including an operation on the freshly created moon of Tashara.
The Pike
Tashara.
Syndicate is incredibly wealthy and powerful in this time period, and we sort of center around their underboss Gorak, who is very much in charge of Pike operations on the moon of Tashara. Tashara
God, that looks
is
sexy
under
as hell,
Imperial control, just like the rest of the galaxy. We get to see
I'm
the
gonna lose
corrupt
my
side of
soul with
that
this
because
game,
the
guys.
Pikes have worked out a deal with the Empire there, where they get to do what they need to do, and the Empire always gets its cut.
Fueled by an unrelenting desire to turn profits, no matter what moral lines may need to be crossed, the Pike's love of luxury and all things shiny is best demonstrated in the appearance of Gorak.
We really wanted him to look very much like the boss, so he's much bigger than the regular Pike characters that you would
That's
meet.
not me, by
He's
the way.
definitely
That's
not the
their
one who
footage
fights.
has
He's,
some
he's the
frame
one
rate
who tells
issues.
people
I'm
what to
assuming
do.
whoever
He
did
has
the editing.
also a lot of jewelry. He's
There's a
very
few
rich.
clips
We
they've
really
used so
wanted to tell
far.
a
That's
story.
not
You
me.
definitely see Gorak is the leader.
Tell the governor the payments will not increase.
The Crimson Dawn.
As more Star Wars stories are written, the more important Crimson Dawn's influence in the galaxy appears to grow. Led by Lady Qi'ra, Emilia Clarke's character from Solo: A Star Wars Story, Crimson Dawn is the Syndicate responsible for auctioning off Han Solo's frozen carbonite wall decoration in the comic books, a prize won by Jabba and the Hutts, who outbid the Pike Syndicate. A mysterious organization operating in the shadows of power, many of Crimson Dawn's intentions remain shrouded when it comes to Outlaws' story.
Steal the relic, disable the energy barrier.
You need to back away right now.
Fine, I hear you.
Narrative director Naveed Kavari gives us some hints, however, noting that the Syndicate is really focused on intelligence spreading and aligning a bit of the wider network of organised criminals.
Crimson Dawn, especially if you look at some of the wider media, is up to something very, very interesting that I'll leave to others to explore and dive into, but this period is very, very important in terms of the character Qi'ra.
The shadowy nature of the group is reflected in their visual design, allowing them to blend into any location
so
they
they're
might
going to
find
expand on
themselves
her
in,
character
but also
in the
place
lore
their
here,
stamp
probably.
when they want to make their presence known.
You will
That's going
be
to
able
trigger
to
some
meet them
people.
in certain
Only
places,
the movies
and
are
it's
canon.
not always necessarily a place that's entirely theirs. Maybe they took over some place, so we try to really show that layer of, okay,
Oh, I
Crimson
love
Dawn
you could
took over
send
this
Nick
place, now
in.
you can see certain
Distract
elements
him.
of them on top of
He
something
plays
that
dead.
used to be something else. They're
God,
more
this combat looks
fashionable, I would
amazing.
say, compared to the other syndicates, and we try to translate that as well in their clothing, but they're also very undercover in the shadows. You would not see them if they would stand somewhere in a corner and just observing things. So their clothing is very practical, but very clean as well, cleaner than any of the other syndicates. Really to show that
They're
they
more
have
professional.
access to better materials, and it's maybe also part of their style.
The Asiga Clan.
The Asiga Clan is a new syndicate created by Massive in collaboration with Lucasfilm, and can
Okay.
be found on the freezing planet of Kijimi, one of 5 playable planets and moons in Star Wars Outlaws and last seen in The Rise of Skywalker.
Nice.
Although brand new when it comes to Star Wars canon, those more knowledgeable about the galaxy far, far away
That
might
looks
be
amazing.
familiar with the alien species they hail from.
I like
They're completely new, but
the
we
art
did
style
use
here.
an existing species called the Melito for the Asiga Clan. And there's many different aspects on them. First thing on the Melito is that they don't have vision, they don't have eyes, so they use different senses. And that was really interesting to design, like a whole syndicate that doesn't use eyesight. So all of their designs have a lot of
It's like
they're based on Kijimi. In the areas they control, you can see
that
these
Apple
lines on the floor.
TV
That's sort
show,
of their way
C,
of navigating, feeling
with
around
Jason
almost
Momoa.
where to go. Their
A future
style
where everyone's
really
blind.
connected to Kijimi City. We wanted to show that they've been there for a long time, so the city itself influenced their look as well. And as Kijimi City
that looks
is
awesome right
heavily
there.
inspired by samurai movies, and it has a lot of these Japanese influences, we use the same sources of inspiration for the Asiga Clan as well, and you will see that in their silhouettes that have a lot of references to samurai armor or kimono type of clothing.
The insect-like nature of the Melito race not only provided some interesting visual challenges for the team, but also influenced how the Syndicate is structured and what its goals include. Whereas others such as the Pikes, Hutts and Crimson Dawn value money, power and information as ways to grow their influence,
I like the
Asiga
sound of the
Clan
Crimson
is much
Dawn,
more
man.
focused on
I
itself
like
and its
information
small
networks.
pocket of the galaxy.
I've got a few of those that I've created for RP campaigns and books.
It will make the hive stronger.
Asiga Clan are really interesting because they follow this very strict hierarchical structure. They are made up of a insect-like species that every single member of the Asiga Clan is serving the wider group under the control of Queen Asiga, more than any other syndicate, where you might have some characters, some subordinates, you know, off to their own
It's been a long
devices.
time since I've
In
read
the
Star Wars
Asiga,
comics.
they are serving the queen, and that's it. And that gave a really fascinating dynamic.
They have a strict code of honor, they're very like a hive mind, and they have one very powerful queen who is in charge, so there's definitely references to that as well in the way they organize their locations, for example, which will remind a little bit more of an anthill. Asiga Clan is really trying to keep the control over Kijimi, which is a very important city, and trying to really get their revenue through that. They're also a syndicate that you will maybe encounter less on different locations because they are so connected to the city. So it's really their power over the city is what gives them their meaning.
Okay.
We have decided.
Zerich Bash.
Sitting outside of the reputation system is the Zerich Bash, a mysterious syndicate that serves as Outlaws' primary antagonist, where you'll be able to interact with the other 4 crime gangs and forge and break bonds of your choosing as the story progresses. The Zerich Bash serves more as a distant looming threat. They are run by Slero, a man who has placed a death mark on Kay at the beginning of her story, forcing her to go on the run.
It's an incredibly wealthy
So they're tied to the
They have
main
their own
narrative.
plans and are more of a new player to the galaxy and to the syndicates. We very much wanted to treat them like they're the new player on the block. So for Kay, she's really on the run from them and from Slero. So they are actively hunting her down. She's using the other syndicates to kind of get what she needs to pull off a heist that's going to secure her freedom from them.
A deadly group not to be messed with, the Zerich Bash needed an ominous appearance to match, something that Yonkers and the team have worked hard on.
I mean, they look very threatening. That's definitely one of the starting points for their design. So we really wanted an imposing silhouette. For them, we really looked at the silhouette as well. So they have very heavy silhouettes. You can see they're very heavy helmets. If you encounter them, you will be intimidated. You know, we wanted them to look intimidating. And they
you
have
might
big
feel
helmets,
intimidated.
Not to get a
I
bigger
know that
silhouette,
my
but
we don't have
also it creates a bit
lightsabers
of
in
a
this one.
between you and them. You don't know who's inside, you know. So that
Man,
was
I
really
can't wait to
fast
see what kind of
forward thing that
skins
they
we've
would
got
feel
for
like,
the weapons
you
and
need
everything.
to get out of their way if you ever encounter them.
Much about Slero and his gang remains a mystery for now, with Massive reluctant to give away many more details about your encounters with them.
That's because it's
We'll
tied to
learn
the main
much more
storyline.
about them though, and why they're at the core of Kay's story when Star Wars Outlaws releases on August 30th. We'll have more exclusive looks at Star Wars Outlaws for you throughout July, and for everything else, stick with IGN.
Well, that was a short one. They really didn't go too long on that one. I think that some of that was already covered in the Reputation and Wanted videos. This was just kind of an overview on the various factions and what they look like and what their visual look is distinguishing them from other things. They didn't mention the Galactic Empire, which it's not a syndicate per se, but it is one of the other faction groups, which they mentioned in the Reputation video, because that's where you get the Wanted system, and it's more along the lines of just not getting caught by them doing anything that they would consider to be illegal in their eyes, because then that's when you get the Wanted system, Wanted status, and get pursued. I guess, we kind of already know how the missions are going to work with the Syndicate, so they didn't cover that today. It sounded like it was mostly just an overview on what they look like, and sort of their overarching who they are, sort of like the foundational layers. It kind of felt like the show Bible for who the Syndicates are in Star Wars Outlaws for anybody who might need to get up to speed quickly and easily. I'm on board for all of it, guys. I can't wait to go to Jabba's Palace. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be playing this for sure as soon as it comes out, streaming it live here on YouTube and over on Twitch. We multi-stream every single day like we're doing right now, normally at 11 a.m. Central Time. Star Wars Outlaws is looking pretty cool. Also, the actress behind, I'm going to go look her up on Twitter right now, for those of you who haven't been paying attention. The girl who plays Kay Vess, and I'm going to forget her name right now. I'm not going to be able to find it. Look this up. Kay Vess, actress. Humberly Gonzalez has been doing a ton of stuff on, I keep calling it Twitter, but over on X. Doing a lot of behind the scenes promotion shots and like stuff from when they were doing the mocap and everything else. She seems like a pretty cool kid. And I'm really happy to see more people doing the mocap, getting the chance to have the spotlight on them instead of being just invisible protagonists. Because a lot of the time, they did a good job with like God of War, having Christopher Judge come out. And he's obviously more of a known celebrity, but having people be able to be recognized for their work as mocap actors. Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios did a great job because they did way more than just voices. They did all the mocap and everything else, and we're seeing the same thing here with Star Wars Outlaws. So Humberly Gonzalez is her name. She's the one playing Kay Vess. It's going to be a fun ride, everybody. Hopefully you'll be along to share the ride with me. That's it for today. I'm going to go forth and do some game streaming from here. But for everybody else who was tuning into the Star Wars thing, thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to check out the playlist down below if you want more information on Star Wars Outlaws. I will continue to produce coverage around it as things come up. And of course, we'll be playing it at the end of August. In the meantime, thanks for being here for the live stream, for the reaction video, everybody. Have a good day. May the Force be with you.